Alright, fair warning, I'm having my morning coffee, so this commentary is going to be as long as it is aimless. So if you want to hang out for a bit, stick around, and yeah, this is gonna go anywhere, so we'll just buckle up. We'll see where this goes. It's been a hot minute. It's been a hot minute since I've just sat down and played TF2 without any kind of ulterior motive, just sitting down and playing the game to have fun. This past week I was playing with a friend of mine and we managed to get inside of a full Hydro server, in casual mind you, and we played a full round from start to finish with real people. No bots, no cheaters, real people. And it was the most fun I've had playing TF2 in years. I was playing Ambassador Spy, and it felt like I was back in 2009 again, and I'm smiling just thinking about it. It was just fun. I've had a little time away from YouTube and TF2 so I could focus on work and other real-life stuff, and coming back and experiencing that classic match of TF2, reigniting all of my fond memories of the game that I've amassed over the years, it really made me think, how often do I experience that anymore? How often am I genuinely enjoying my time with TF2 like I was 13 years ago? And to be honest, the answer's not often. Very rarely do I find myself enjoying TF2 these days. We've been stuck in the same vicious cycle since 2017, and Valve shows little to no interest in addressing TF2's major problems. All of us enjoy a game that is plagued with bots and cheaters, and rather than addressing that, Valve prefers to degrade the experience of new players instead. There's no new gameplay content, aside from maps of mostly questionable quality. The waves of purchasable content that we do get are slowly choking out what's left of TF2's distinct visual style, also of mostly questionable quality. The matchmaking system barely hangs on, and effectively produces the same quality of matches that Quickplay did, if not worse, and we have a community server base that is a shadow of its former self. The game's in a pathetic state, and I mean, sure, most people would take that as a sign to pack up and move on to greener pastures, but my autism dictates that I stick around until the game stops jerking about from its death throes. Yes, it's pathetic of me, I understand that, but just part of me wants to keep reaching out for that little morsel of joy eked out over a month's worth of gameplay. It's all derivative of the sad state the game is in, and I just can't let it go. And I know all of you are tired of hearing this. Everyone's fed up with the position that TF2 is in, and I'm sure some of you would be more than happy if I just shut up about it. But we need to keep sticking Valve's nose in their own mess. Their shortcomings must be at the forefront of all discourse surrounding TF2 until we see some tangible change. So long as they keep TF2 on life support, we gotta keep talking about it, and we gotta push for better. Period. And as a part of that mess, we must keep calling for better content in TF2. If all Valve is willing to do is take content from the community and then sell it back to the community, they can at least pick better stuff. I've been hammering really hard on that point over the past year now, actually longer than that, because Valve seems more than content on leaving bots in the game, so I figured I should at least focus my efforts on the aspect that might bring about tangible change through my actions alone. And most people, at least I think most people, are in loose agreement with the fact that most recent content, hats and maps and skins, are of unacceptably low quality, or just don't fit in the game. Valve's gotta do better, and so do the people making the content. But for some reason, even acknowledging this pisses people off. And listen, I know I come off as abrasive, people demonize me for various reasons, and I'm sure if this discourse was being led by anyone other than myself, it would be a pill far more easily swallowed. But I've never experienced more swift vitriol than when I call hats and skins like this bad, and the creators of them lazy or amateurs. Every video I've made on this, even my last one, which points out the fact that we get stock images and child's drawings as official additions in TF2, was met with people screeching about how I'm bullying the creative lifeblood of the game by calling their items bad, when they willingly post their items on a public platform designed for people to comment, critique, and vote on them as potential products for a game. Like, listen, I get it. You want to pad your portfolio for an Epic Games application, but the TF2 workshop isn't your personal art gallery. You can show off all the creative prowess you want, but you gotta remember the game you're making items for. You can't just slap Pickle Rick or a Darth Vader helmet on somebody and actually think that's okay for TF2. You gotta gatekeep your hobbies, people. Keep this crap out of the game. Anyways, I'm getting off track. The state of TF2 is unacceptable. We can at least all agree on that much. And again, I'm autistic and I can't ignore this, because I care about this game and I want to see it flourish again despite its age. And Valve, a company with near limitless resources and manpower, can absolutely make that happen. There is zero excuse for the current state of the game. And I'm tired of people giving Valve a pass because they keep hucking goofy shit into the game. It's that same detractory mentality of, well, at least we're getting something. That just doesn't fly here. And listen, here's the deal. If you've handled my inane rambling this far into the video, this is the takeaway. This coming summer update is make or break for TF2, at least in my eyes. Valve has an opportunity here. This is the first time in years that Valve has directly communicated with the player base about an upcoming update, and the first time in years that Valve is willing to go beyond the status quo of 2 holiday updates and a summer hatbox. It's not that much further, mind you. They already had to curb our expectations by editing the blog post. We're just getting maps and war paints on top of the hats and unusual effects that we were gonna get anyways. Effectively a summertime Scream Fortress. But this shows that Valve is willing to do slightly more. And if the first blog post communication about an upcoming update results in yet another abysmally mediocre dumpster fire of questionably low quality content, that is going to crush what little faith people somehow still have in Valve for managing TF2. And that's gonna drive more people away. Player numbers may be at an all-time high, but player retention is at an all-time low. TF2, much like any other free-to-play cash cow these days, cycles players faster than a washing machine cycles socks. People dive in, they try it out, and they stick around and spend money on it if they like it. But TF2 is in this unique and awful position where even if a new player likes the game and wants to stick around, there is very little to keep them around beyond the gameplay, and there are countless factors that drive them away. This summer update will be the confirmation from Valve as to what they're willing to do for TF2 outside of automatic holiday updates, which, up until this point, has been very little. Even the absolute PR nightmare drummed up by Save TF2 didn't have lasting tangible effects. People cite an uptick in the frequency of patches, when in reality, the number of patches we normally get didn't change. Some of them were indeed slightly girthier than usual and brought about some welcome yet minor changes, and for a time bots did decrease in number, either from an intentional change on Valve's part or Valve accidentally broke popular cheat engines with some other change, but that's all gone. That's all since quieted down, and we're back at square one. Bots are back in full swing again. Human cheaters are at an all-time high in both casual and community servers. Closet cheaters are ridiculous right now and blatant. It's insane. And here we are. Here we are. Show us what you got, Valve. Seriously, I'm shaking with anticipation. No, seriously, part of me is almost sickened by the anxiety about how they're going to handle this summer update. A piece of me, a small little piece of me that is stupid enough to hope for more than a summertime Scream Fortress is wanting more. I mean, hey, give us a Strange Dragon's Fury, Valve, that'd be great. But my logical side knows better than that. Especially if the past 5 years are of any indication. All the way through last year, hats were largely treated the same as with the previous 5 years. There were indeed tangible improvements in the tonal quality during the last summer update, but then Valve immediately went back to old hat during Scream Fortress, of which we saw 50-50 trash. The winter case last year, I inadvertently made half decent with a video, you're welcome by the way, but the rest of the case was fleshed out with decent filler or just more tacky crap yet again. Don't get me wrong, a little bit is fine, but this... And what about maps, right? What about maps? These are the only things that provide us with new gameplay experiences these days. Most recent additions have been terrible. Crasher's great, don't get me wrong. Altitude, fine. That other compy map, fine. But maps like Polar, Bonesaw, Whatville, various reskins bloated with gimmicks that are barely playable with like 20 frames? Fucking Frostwatch? A creator's first map that plays like ass, but Valve opted to pick for Christmas because, oh, it's got presents and snow, guys! Oh, for fuck's sake, come on! The summer update is going to bring us non-seasonal maps. Great, thank God. Finally, something that isn't locked behind a time window. But I truly fear for their quality, since Valve only seems to go by workshop screenshots rather than actually playtesting the damn things. And then what about unusual effects? We continue to face their oversaturation, as now Valve prefers to treat them like new hats rather than rare items. 7 recolors of the same effect. Was this necessary? When was the last time you saw any of these in-game outside of a trade server or a YouTube video? Can you even name any unusual effect we've received over the past few years? Unusuals aren't special anymore. They're just another hat, and their volume is beginning to rival that of cosmetics. It's ridiculous. And then what about taunts? Just more roleplay emotes? It really just feels like anything goes at this stage. Some recent additions are pretty good, but most of them are just stupid or out of place. High five? Fine. Heavy cleaning his gun? Fine. But this? Seriously? It's not exactly reminiscent of what you'd expect to see mercenaries doing or reflective of the tone of the game. It just seems like, well, if it's wacky, it's okay. And needless to say, taunts have completely lost their charm a long time ago. And of course, war paints, don't really need to cover those again. In short, when what, a third of accepted content is of passable quality? Hell, let's just say half to be generous. It's a problem. And for some reason, you can't acknowledge any of this. You can't express any concerns about these things without a really odd amount of backlash. Again, probably because it's coming from me and not some other Reddit-approved or Twitter-approved milquetoast Zoomer. Fine, but now my argument has come full circle. And I'm tired. I'd love to see better assets for TF2. I want to see this game flourish in some capacity again. I see this summer update as make or break in that regard. And I encourage you to curb your expectations. Will things get better? I don't think so. But I want to be wrong. I so desperately want to be wrong. Please, Valve, prove me wrong. Make me eat crow. Don't crush that little glimmer of hope that you've instilled in some of us. Let's see if you fuck it up. Just some housekeeping before I sign off. I do have bigger videos planned, I assure you. They're just taking some time. I've been pretty busy with real life lately, hence why you're just getting a commentary today, so I really do appreciate your continued patience. Anyways, I'm fairly active on my second channel with random odds and ends, and I stream every now and again on Twitch, so go and check those things out if you want more from me. And as always, a huge thank you to my patrons. I know I'm not cranking out the really high quality stuff lately. I'm really sorry. I know it's why you give me the money. I'll get my ass on the case, I do promise. Oh yeah, one more thing before I go, just as a little bonus for those of you that stuck around until the end. Yes, Frozen Aurora is indeed a self-insert fetish item that Valve cluelessly added as an official addition to Team Fortress 2. No, I did not make that up for my last video. It takes 5 minutes of research to confirm this. Nor was it some huge joke so this guy could pull a fast one over us and go, ha ha, I made it as a huge meme. No, it's, yeah. Either it's the Vor Pride flag, or it's the color scheme of this guy's furry character. Probably both. Why bother pointing it out? I just don't think that personalized sexual fetish items or self-insert items belong in TF2, no matter what they represent. It's simply inappropriate. If you desperately want these things in your game, just use a mod. We already do that for Fempyro, so spare us from your personal life. These kinds of items only mean something to you, and they mean nothing to everybody else. Please do not immortalize your deceased pet as a cosmetic, or build a furry Vor foot fetish pyro, or turn Scout into a fucking femboy. Not every form of media needs to represent or affirm you. But hey, you know what? This guy got one in and laughed all the way to the bank with his fucking furry girlfriend. So you know what? Hey man, I gotta hand it to you. You pulled a fast one over a multi-billion-dollar company. You got paid for it, and now you got your fucking purple people eating pride flag paint in the game. Congratulations, you've won. That's fucking wild. All right, that's enough. I'll see y'all later. Bye.